A bright and extreme white flashlight pulled a man out of sleep. He slowly stand up, confused, and found himself inside a strange, shaped room, like a cube. Every wall, even the ceiling and floor, had a square door, 6 doors in total. Curious, he opened one, then another, and realized that every door only led to another identical cube. Endless rooms, all the same. He cautiously entered one. 2 steps in, suddenly a sharp cutter or a thin wires slicing his body into pieces. The room was deadly. Elsewhere, in another cube, a man lay asleep. A door below creaked open and another man climbed inside. Moments later, a woman and a young girl entered too. The girl's glasses slipped and broke. She is in deep fear. While the man tried to calm her, an older man climbed in from above. By then, the sleep one had woken up. Now, 5 strangers stood in the same room. None knew each other. None knew how they got here. All wore the same plain uniforms, each marked with a name. Their names were Quentin, Holloway, Levin, Worth, and Wren. Wren, without hesitation, removed his shoe, tied it to its lace, and tossed it into the next room. Instantly, the wall opens, exposing heating jets that roasted the shoe in midair. The group froze. They understood the horrifying truth. Rooms have hidden traps, triggered by unseen sensors. This was no building. It was a machine, a puzzle, a maze, a prison. Fear spread. Quentin tried to take charge. If we want to get out, we need to stick together. Work as a team. Does anyone remember how they got here? Holloway whispered, I was home, eating dinner. Next thing I know, I woke up here. Levin trembled. I was in bed asleep. And then I was here. When Quentin asked Worth, he coldly replied, I don't remember. I opened my eyes, and I was here. Wren cut in, impatient. Talking won't help us. The only way is forward. We test every room. We keep moving until we reach the end. Then we figure out what's next. Everyone silently agreed, except Worth. He scoffed, forget it. Escape? Impossible. Wren replied, maybe it's not easy, but someone is watching us. They want us to try. Levin shivered. Quentin stepped forward, trying to steady her. Don't be afraid. I'm a cop. I'll get us out of here. I promise. The group moving slowly and quietly, one room at a time, testing with shoes through doors. Whenever a room was safe, they moved forward together. But they began hearing sounds like massive machinery grinding and sliding, echoing through the walls. The deeper they went, the louder it grew. Then Levin noticed every doorframe had 3 sets of 3-digit numbers engraved on it. Look, she pointed. Holloway says, every room has different numbers. Could these be room codes? Respond, Worth said. If these are room numbers, then we're trapped inside millions of cubes. It could take days just to reach the edge. Holloway face paled but spoke with broken heart. I'm a doctor, and I can tell you, we won't last more than 3 days without food and water. The heat in here will dry us out even faster. Dehydration will kill us long before hunger does. The group fell silent. Then Wren calmly snapped a button off Holloway's shirt and held it up. Suck on this. It'll keep your mouth moist, trick your body into thinking it has water. Strange advice, but everyone obeyed. Survival demanded it. They moved on. As usual, Wren tested the next room with a shoe. The shoe remained untouched, but something felt weird. He said flatly, it's a trap. There's no moisture in there. Dry air. Chemical sensors. If we step inside, our skin releases hydrogen sulfide, the sensors pick it up, and the room kills us. Shoes don't trigger it. Only living flesh does. The group stared, stunned by his knowledge. How could he know this much? Quentin squinted, then realization struck him. You're Wren, the escape artist. The man who broke out of 7 of the world's most secure prisons. Wren didn't deny it. For the first time, if anyone could beat this machine, it was him. Confident, Wren jumps into another room he had already checked. 2 steps ahead, he froze. Here's click sound. He looked back. Acid sprayed across his face, burning through skin, muscle, bone. His scream echoed through the cube as he stumbled back toward safety. But by the time he collapsed, his skull had dissolved, and Wren, the great escape artist, now was dead. The others watched in horror. If even Rin couldn't outsmart the traps, what chance did they have? But Quentin refused to give up. His eyes burned with anger and determination. No, we can't stop here. I have children waiting for me. I won't let this place beat us. We were chosen for a reason. Each of us has something to contribute. He pointed around the room. I'm a cop. Holloway's a doctor. Worth, what about you? Worth replied bitterly. Just an office worker. Nothing special. Quentin turned to the young girl. And you? Levin hesitated. I'm just a student. Still in school. Quentin's eyes narrowed to the door where Ren had died. Then maybe your gift is numbers. Look at the codes written on these doors. Do they mean anything to you? Levin stepped closer and checked thoroughly. It had patterns, prime numbers look. Every trapped room I've seen had a prime number in its code. This one, 149. It's prime. That's why Ren died. The safe rooms don't have primes. The group exchanged stunned glances. Could it be that simple? Levin's sharp memory and mathematical mind became their lifeline. For the first time since Trapped, they saw a path forward. She pointed to another door. This one doesn't have any prime numbers. It should be safe. Hoping for the best, follow Levin's theory. They tested another room with a shoe. Safe. She climbed in herself, proving there was no trap. Excitement returned, and the group pressed on, carefully avoiding prime-numbered rooms and moving deeper through the puzzle cubes or maze. Quentin admired Levin's brilliance. She respected his leadership. As a team, they passed cube after cube, but soon they reached a dead end, a room where every doorway was marked with prime numbers. Only the ceiling door remained unchecked. Quentin climbed up, pushed it open, when suddenly a boy fall down into their room. His name was Kazan. Mentally challenged, terrified, and confused, he repeatedly banged his head against the wall. Holloway gently calmed him down, and now group chose to bring him along. Somewhere inside, they still had hope. They moved again. Worth checked the next room's numbers. Safe. And Levin confirmed no primes. Quentin trusted them and jumped in. But no sooner had he taken a few steps than Levin's eyes widened. Thin steel wires slid silently from the walls, rotating like blades. Quentin barely escaped, diving through a narrow gap. He landed back in the previous room. Quentin's anger boiled over. His eyes locked on Worth. You set me up. You're working with whoever put us here. Levin tried to defend him. No, I checked too. The numbers weren't prime. It should have been safe. But Quentin snapped. Your prime number trick is useless. We've been surviving on luck alone. The group grew tense. Holloway stepped in. Quentin, stop. Worth isn't with them. He's just hopeless. Quentin shouts. The prime formula had failed. The team strategy is now broken. Everyone desperate, debating new ways to outsmart the cube puzzle or maze. Except Worth. He sat apart, tense and panic. Finally, Quentin reached at him. We're fighting for our lives, and you sit there laughing? Do something. Worth snapped back. Why should I? There's no way out. None. His words silenced the room. For a moment, everyone froze. Quickly, people realized Worth had been hiding something all along. Pressured, he finally spoke. This isn't just random rooms. We're inside one giant cube. Each chamber is a smaller cube, like a Rubik's puzzle, and all of it inside a bigger box at the outer shell. Surprised and stunned, Holloway whispered, How do you know this? Worth's face dropped, his voice hollow. Because I designed it. The outer shell. Not the traps, not the numbers. I knew nothing of those. Strangers contacted me, gave me the contract, paid me to design a massive hollow box. I never asked why. The truth sank in. Worth wasn't an ordinary man at all. He had helped to build that prison, and they were now prisoners inside. Quentin pressed Worth with more questions. Who built this place? Why would anyone trap us here? Worth shook his head. I don't know who they are or what their purpose is. I was just hired to do a small part of the construction. They paid me well, and I never asked questions. I thought it was just another project. How could I know they'd use it to cage people like us? Everyone froze at his words. Levin immediately asked him about the structure of the cube. Worth explained, All I know is that the outer shell is 434 feet square. Between that shell and the inner cube is a gap about the size of one room. And yes, there is one exit door on the shell, but I have no idea where it is. Levin's mind raced. Using Worth's details, she started calculating. Finally, her eyes widened. There were 26 rooms across, 26 up and down, 26 front to back. That meant the cube held a terrifying 17,576 rooms in total. The group's confidence collapsed. Out of thousands of rooms, how would they even know where they were? Levin kept thinking until suddenly she realized the answer. The strange numbers carved on each door weren't random. They were coordinates. With that, she managed to locate their current position. According to her math, they needed to move 7 rooms ahead to reach the very last chamber. Everyone believed that final room had a hideaway out. They started moving, still tossing boots into rooms to test for traps. Then Levin noticed something disturbing. One chamber ahead was marked as the 27th in sequence. Her brow furrowed. That's impossible. Each axis should only have 26. How can there be a 27th room? The mystery unsettled her, but they pushed forward. They were only one step away from the final room, until they realized every approach blocked by deadly traps. No path seemed safe. Quentin spoke. There's only one chance. The room below us has a sound-activated trap. If we stay completely silent, we can slip through. Everyone agreed. One by one, they lowered themselves down. Worth went first, then Levin, then Holloway with Kazan. The quiet was unbearable, each breath feeling like thunder. Finally, it was Quentin's turn. He was halfway across when disaster struck. Kazan panicked and let out a loud cry. At once, the walls around them appeared with steel spikes, ready to shred Quentin to pieces. In that split second, Quentin made a desperate exit. The blades missed him by inches, and he landed hard in the next room, alive but shaken. His relief quickly turned into rage. His eyes locked on Kazan, burning with fury. Quentin's jaw tightened. Now he was ready to kill. When Holloway tried to calm him, he snapped and hurled curses at her. Holloway shot back, her voice sharp. You're nothing but an angry man. You flirt with girls half your age. No wonder your wife left you. The words cut deep. Quentin lost control and slapped her hard across the face. But instead of breaking, Holloway laughed bitterly. That slap proves everything I said was true. Her taunts silenced him. By then, they had finally reached what Levin believed was the last room. Worth opened the hatch, and all eyes searched for salvation. But instead of an exit, they saw a vast gap separating them from the outer shell. A full, empty area with darkness and no visible door. Their hope collapsed in an instant. Quentin refused to give up. We can make a rope from our clothes. Someone has to swing across. Maybe there's an exit on that shell. Levin disagreed. That rope won't hold your weight. We need someone lighter. Holloway stepped forward. I'll do it. I'm the lightest. I'll take the risk. They tied their clothes together, lowering her into the void. Holloway swung carefully toward the shell, hope trembling in her chest. But then, the entire cube rotated like a monstrous machine. This sudden move snapped the rope from the other's hands, and Holloway dropped straight down at high speed. At the last second, Quentin moved and caught her, saving her from certain death. The others grabbed his legs, straining to pull them back up. Holloway held his hand desperately. Relief flooded her face, until Quentin's expression darkened. He remembered her insult, her laughter, the humiliation. With cold fury, Quentin released her grip deliberately. Holloway's scream vanished into the endless void below. Back in the room, Quentin lied. Her hand slipped. I couldn't hold her. The others, broken and exhausted, sank into silence. But Quentin wasn't done. He turned to Levin. We can't just sit here. We have to reach the bottom of the cube. From there, maybe the shell will be freedom. The problem was they had only one shoe left to test the deadly traps. Quentin pressured Levin to keep solving the numbers. Worth denies. We're all exhausted. We need rest before moving on. Against his own instincts, Quentin agreed. Later, as the group slept, Quentin stole Worth's last shoe, then quietly woke Levin. Pulling her into another chamber, he whispered urgently, Worth and Kazan are dead weight. Leave them. Trust me, I'll get you out. But his intentions soon turned dark. His hand moved where it didn't belong. Levin forcefully pushing him away. Quentin forcing himself on her. Before he could overpower her, Worth and Kazan arrived. Worth slammed into Quentin, shoving him across the room. Quentin roared with fury, beating Worth savagely with the shoe before throwing him down into the lower chamber. Worth's cries. After all this drama, they proceed for next cube. Worth was staring at a corpse. Quentin climbed after him, and when his eyes landed on the body, his heart froze. It was Ren, the escape artist who had died in one of the traps earlier. They weren't closer to freedom. They had been wandering in circles, back at the same cursed chamber where it all began. The reality hit Quentin like a hammer. His strength drained, his mind unraveling. The cube wasn't just a trap. It was a prison with no end. Worth stared in disbelief. The room ahead wasn't a deadly trap chamber anymore. It was empty space. Then it hit him. "We didn't circle back here," he whispered. "The rooms themselves are moving. That grinding sound we've been hearing, it's not machines above us. It's the cube shifting, rooms sliding around like parts of a puzzle." But Quentin, he barked at Worth to shut up and throw the last shoe at him in frustration. The shoe bounced away into the void. Yet Levin's eyes widened. Something in Worth's words had sparked an idea. She began calculating rapidly, then exclaimed, "I get it. I finally understand this cube." She reminded them of the strange moment earlier. Remember when we found a 27th room? But in a 26 by 26 cube, that's impossible. That wasn't just another chamber, it was a bridge. A corridor that connects the inner cube to the outer shell's exit door. The bridge must move, just like the other rooms. That's why it appeared in the middle instead of at the edge. Quentin interrupted sharply. "Then how can we know if it will line up with the exit again? Or with the same bridge?" Levin explained, her voice steady despite the terror. "When this cube began moving, all the rooms followed a cycle. The bridge was linked to the outer door when we were first brought inside. Since then, it has been sliding around with the others. But if the cycle completes, every chamber, including the bridge, will return to its original position. If we reach it before that moment, the exit will be there." Her calculations revealed something terrifying. She said, "After 2 moves, the cube resets. If we can get to the bridge before then, we can escape." Worth shook his head. "But the path ahead is filled with traps. And without shoes, how do we test the rooms?" Levin hesitated, then revealed the truth. "I was wrong about the prime numbers. The meaning is deeper. Every door has 9 digits. If any factor of those digits is prime, then the room is a trap. But those numbers are big, too complex for me to calculate by hand. We need a computer." She trailed off, defeated. "I can't even break down 3 simple numbers like 5, 6, 7. And then a quiet voice answered from the shadows. "The factors of 567 are 2. Everyone froze. The voice belonged to Kazan. Levin blinked, stunned. She asked him another test. "What about 30? Kazan replied instantly, 3. The truth struck her like lightning. Kazan wasn't mentally broken as they thought. He had autistic disorders, meaning people can identify his patterns and behavior easily. His behavior seemed strange, but his mind worked in ways they couldn't imagine. His genius let him process numbers effortlessly, solving problems that even computers struggled with. The boy they once considered a burden, the one Quentin wanted to abandon, was in fact their greatest key to survival. Inside the cube, every small discovery felt like life or death. When Kazan revealed that one set of numbers was safe, hope rushed through the group. To test it, Quentin shoved Worth into the next room. Luckily, it wasn't trapped. One by one, the others followed. But as Quentin climbed in last, Worth slammed the door on his neck, nearly crushing him. Using Kazan's quick calculations, they found another safe path and slipped away, leaving Quentin behind. Yet Quentin wasn't finished. Fueled by anger, he hunted them down again. Just when he thought he had them, Worth opened a hatch beneath his feet. Quentin crashed down to the floor below, knocked unconscious. Worth, Levin, and Kazan moved on. Levin and Worth entered a new chamber, but before Kazan could follow, the cube shifted. His room rotated, leaving him behind. Panic struck. Levin gasped, fearing they'd lost him forever. Then, Faintly, Kazan's voice echoed through the metal corridors. Worth followed the sound, determined to find him. While waiting, Levin suddenly felt glass pieces in her foot. Picking it up, she froze. It was her broken glasses. Memory struck. This was the very first room they had all woken up in. Back then, her glasses had fallen and broken on the floor. Shocked, she checked the coordinates and realized this room's next shift would align with the bridge, the way out. Worth soon returned, guiding Kazan back safely. Moments later, the room jolted and slid into place. Levin opened the hatch. A blinding white light poured through. It was the bridge, now aligned in its original position. Freedom was right in front of them. Joy exploded inside them, until horror followed. From behind, a sharp metal handle pierced through Levin's chest. Blood poured as she gasped. Quentin had returned. With ruthless force, next, he stabbed Worth in the stomach. Now only Kazan remained. Terrified, he moved toward the other side of the bridge. As the cube began shifting again, Quentin tried to escape too. He had one leg out when Worth, with his last ounce of strength, grabbed his other leg. Quentin fought to break free, but the bridge moved violently. In an instant, his body was sliced in two. Quentin's scream ended in silence. Worth collapsed, lifeless. In the end, only Kazan survived. He stepped towards white light. The light was so bright it hid his shape. The cube still held its mysteries, but Kazan believed escape was just outside.
Thanks for watching, and hope you have enjoyed this. See you in next amazing video. Till then, take care and best wishes, but don't forget to like and subscribe.